I'm claustrophobic. It doesn't look safe. I would not do this. There's some pretty small holes you got to go in. If I have to get to a point where I have to crawl, that's going to freak me out. Claustrophobia. A guy came out and he was kind of huffing and puffing. I asked him if he made it all the way to the end. He just kind of went, I think he was a little freaked out. Did that guy seem freaked out?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I just asked him if everything was good and he didn't answer.
It's scary. I'm scared a little bit. I'm going to have a choice to make. There's a crawl through, which would not be good for me. Oh yeah, that's creepy. This is the kind of thing that's weird about being a nomad. As soon as I go into this cave, it's gonna be funny to me because it's gonna smell like sunblock and soap and shampoo and perfume. I haven't taken a shower for 3 days, that's like fresh for me. I'm fresh. You know, I live with 2 dogs. Like, I get dusty and dirty no matter what. It already feels really weird doing this hike by myself because I'm so used to being with the dogs. It feels kind of silly. It's just not as fun without the dogs, you know. It's gonna be a lot easier because I don't have the dogs strapped to me, you know, with the leashes and everything. But the benefit of having the dogs is, you know, they're my pals. They're with me all the time and I feel safe with them. There's not gonna be any weird things happening in there, like no danger, I'm sure. All right, let's go check this out. So just walking through the parking lot, there's like a group of people like getting their hats and their boots on and stuff. And man, I mean, I was like 100 feet away from them, and it's just this waft of like shampoos and soaps and fragrances. Just like this cloud. It's like, oh, you just breathe it in. It's like, whoo. I'm outside all the time. So to me, it smells really fake. Like, not like real. I've only seen a couple pictures so far. So, for the most part, I have no idea what to expect. Let's check this out. My red dog, Dodger. He wouldn't have wanted to go down in here so much. Holy cow. This is actually scary. Didn't even think this is the right way, but I see people down there, so this must be the way. It's cold down here. I wouldn't come down here unless I saw all these tourists coming through here. The dogs would not have liked this. I'm gonna have to get my headlamp out. In fact, if you didn't have a headlamp, you couldn't do this. So there's my light. I'm gonna put this on. Okay, I put my headlamp on and it was getting cold. It's kind of funny because talking about all these tourists and there's like little kids and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm a mountain man. But you know what? I'm claustrophobic. So don't worry, I'm gonna do this. I'm totally gonna do it. I decided I'm gonna go back and get my jacket, which luckily I have a backup jacket in the truck, but it's pretty cold. And it looks like it keeps going down and down. And I really don't know what goes on down there, like how big it gets. But as far as the claustrophobia goes, like right away you're just going through these little tiny passageways, and I would not do this if it wasn't like kind of sanctioned by the Forest Service, because it doesn't look safe. There's like boulders and it looks like stuff could fall. But I mean, there's moms and dads and old people and little kids doing this, so I'm gonna be a real wimp if I don't do this. So I'm totally gonna do it. It's dark in there too. I don't know if there's any spots where light comes in, but I got my headlamp and I have a little tiny flashlight backup, and I actually have my dog lights still on my pack too. So yeah, claustrophobia. Yeah, it kind of kicked in a little bit there because, man, when I was a kid, there was a cave that I went into in Boy Scouts, And once you got inside, it kind of opens up a little bit. And that's really all I need. The entrance was super small. You have to squeeze through this tiny entrance. And so I got that kind of flashback. This one, it looked like, oh, it's a big walkway. As you go in, you can see all those rocks around it. But there's some pretty small holes you got to go in to get down in there. And as I look down, it doesn't look like it opens up right away. Then there's these boulders up above you. It's like they just look like they're gonna fall. So if I can stand up, that's fine, then I'm fine. But if I have to get to a point where I have to crawl, then that's gonna freak me out. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go all the way to the end. So I got my jacket here. Luckily I had a backup jacket in the truck. It's cold, and I figured if I'm gonna get kind of claustrophobic, I don't want to be shivering from the cold either, because that's just gonna increase my stress level. All right, I'm kind of excited. So this will be cool to see what we find as claustrophobia sets in. Okay, 3 sources of light. Yes. Sturdy shoes. Luckily I put my boots on today and up my pants. I got my darn tough socks on too. Warm clothes. Okay, now I got my jacket. Hard hat, no. A guy came out and he was kind of huffing and puffing. I asked him if he made it all the way to the end. He just kind of went, he was real stern about it. And then I saw the next people behind me ask him if it was any good. And he kind of gave them the cold shoulder too. So I think he was a little freaked out. Did that guy seem freaked out?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
I just asked him if everything was good, and he didn't answer.
Yeah, I asked him if he made it all the way to the end. He goes, uh-huh, yeah. But he didn't say anything, and he looked really upset, so. I've already seen ice. And it's scary. I'm scared a little bit. You have to go really slow so I don't slip. So this is almost 2 miles. So I'm kind of turning my light on and off. Make sure I turn it off when I don't need it. I do have a battery pack and I have backup lights. But it'd be nice if I could do this whole thing without having to use them, just for safety. So I'm trying to mooch off of other people's lights. This is gonna take a while for me to get through here, I can tell. I'm basically climbing over boulders right now and watching my head at the same time. And I'm thinking about my lights right now, because if I didn't have backup lights, it would be scary. I wish I had gloves, because I'm having to touch these rocks. And the rocks are really cold. So sometimes I have to grab onto these to keep my balance, because it's a little slick. You can see how wet it is. Turn that on full power. And I don't blame the kids for being scared at all. So here's the ceiling. I can't quite stand up here. You can see how wet that is. So if I have to grab that, my hands get wet. And it's cold. And I saw ice already down here. So that gives you an idea of how cold it is. It's probably 20 feet to the ceiling. Try and get ahead of these kids a little bit so it's not so noisy, but I don't blame them at all. I really don't. I mean, these rocks don't look particularly stable. You can see they do fall down here. But I'm not really scared right now because it's big in here. I'm just thinking about the dogs, just because I miss them and because I don't want them to be bored. It's funny like how attached you get to your pets. So they're just sitting back there in the trailer while I'm having this fun adventure. I'm gonna go to the end. I'm getting pretty good at mooching off of other people's lights. Whenever their light is shining down, then I can turn mine off and see pretty far down the cave. Not too scared. All right, so now I've reached this is the big room, I think, 30 feet. It's a little hard to like put light on my face because it gets in my eyes and then I lose my night vision. So let's see what the red light. Oh, that seems to work pretty good. That gives a good effect too. I'm learning I'm not afraid of the dark. And when it's big in here, I could camp in here. Like it's comfortable. I'm comfortable. Just those small passageways, which I think there's a couple coming up. Really, I think your biggest danger in here is falling. Because this rock right here is pretty stable, but when you start stepping on these boulders, you see that? Most of them aren't stable. So that can cause you to fall, but also it's slick. There's a lot of moisture in here. So I want to sit down and show you my boots that I'm wearing, because I'm not having a problem with them, but they're not my best boots. Let's sit on a dry rock. Oh, there's no dry rocks here. So I got these 5'11" boots. They have decent tread. They're pretty good. So I'm doing my water bottle in my pack trick. I don't have to take the bottle all the way out. I can just unscrew this cap and take a sip whenever I want. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm glad I got boots instead of just my short shoes, because my ankles are definitely scraping against rocks in here. But I have a really good pair of boots, the Zamberlan. They're like $300, but they have the best tread for this kind of terrain. But I'm happy with these. These 5'11s are working pretty good. I'm happy. I just got to go sort of slow so I don't slip. Because if I slip, that's going to be the scariest part, because you don't know what you're falling on. You can't see everything. And you could get really hurt. I'm not going to slip though, right? Let's keep heading down the cave. I asked somebody and they said, we're not at the halfway point yet. Supposedly it gets pretty narrow, so we'll see how that is. So I've heard a couple things right now about the rest of this cave, and I'm gonna have a choice to make. There's a right turn and a left turn, apparently. And the right turn is supposedly shorter, but there's a crawl through, which would not be good for me, but I kind of want to do it just to see if I could do it. And then that supposedly attaches to the left way. I'm gonna keep hiking and then I'll see if I want to go through this crawl space or go the left way, which is the long way, but no crawl space. Well, look at this. I was just talking about this. There's a way here, and then there's this way. So left is long but easy, right is shorter, but there's a crawl through. Let's go right. I guess I'm feeling brave. I can turn around if I decide not to do this crawl through. A creepy crawl through. Honestly, it's not a good idea for me to do a crawl because I'm by myself. I could freak out. But it would be fun to challenge myself even more. This is really an interesting cave. Got kind of these gullies, and then there's a very flat pathway, which I guess that makes sense. This is just lava right here. That just flowed through here. And the way this rock cracks here on the edges is really interesting. There's a lot less fallen rock here, but you can see like right here, it cracked right there and fell probably not too long ago. So it's a little sketchy. But okay, now is this the crawl? Oh crap. I get it. Okay. I get it now. You can see if I can shine my light back there. That's where you crawl. So that doesn't look too bad, but it's 3 feet at the high point right there. So you're kind of, yeah, that's crawling. Whatever I do here, I'm not doing it for the channel. I'm not doing it for YouTube. I'm not doing it for you that's watching. I'm only doing it for myself. I can guarantee that. I'm gonna crawl through this a little bit. It's not like belly crawling, which would be horrible for me. It's kind of like crawling hands and knees, which now that I say that, that sounds kind of horrible. I want to see how far I can go. And we'll see. I'm making myself nervous. It's funny. I wish my dogs were with me now because I'm realizing like how much safer they make me feel. Even though here, like they can't do anything, but just having them nearby, you know, I'm thinking about them. And that kind of gets my mind off of things. Well, someone's coming through. You can see this pile of rocks and boulders right there. Kind of makes a wall. And I'm squat down right now. It's this high point from here to the floor is 3 feet. And it looks like it gets a little bit narrower as it goes. So at some point I'm gonna have to be on my hands and knees. And I mean, I am scared right now. And the other thing is I have a camera here, but staying low like this, I'm not really in danger of falling. So I can kind of manage. And of course we have rocks, just like ledges, just looking like they're gonna fall. For some reason, that's not really my fear. It's interesting, I feel like talking is making me more nervous, more scared. Like, I'm getting that feeling of like, oh yeah, if you turn around, you just have to keep doing this crawling thing. So that's kind of a scary feeling. And this ground, take a look at this. It's pretty unforgiving. You know, it's these chunky lava chunks. They're very sharp. They're not so sharp that I can't grab them a little bit, but if you fall on this, you're gonna scrape yourself. I'm glad I said that I'm not doing this for the channel or for YouTube, because if I die in here, I don't want people to think that I'm doing this for any other reason than myself. Okay. It looks like it opens up right here. And there's people singing. I try and keep my light pointed down so it doesn't go in anybody's eyes. So this is where we could have come through. I think those are the people that are singing are the people that I entered with. And we both saw that freaked out guy on the entrance. And they're turning around now singing, I think to keep themselves calm. But I went through this crawl hole. That's what I went through. So it wasn't too bad. I'm glad I did it. It's creepy looking at from this side. Oh, my light, crap, I don't wanna. If I drop this light in some of these crevices here, then I'm gonna have a hell of a time fishing it out. So it's kind of sketchy that I keep having to take it off. Let's keep going. I've reached a point in here now where this has got to be the biggest area, biggest room. I mean, it must be 50 feet, almost 50 feet to the ceiling here. And I'm just noticing now there's nobody that I can see or hear. I'm gonna leave the light on, but I want you to hear what I hear. It's just nothing. And thinking about all the land above me right now is kind of creeping me out the most. But there's some ledges here. I mean, that's a 5-foot drop right there. Sharp rocks. You can see how sharp these are. I'm gonna take a break right here. It looks dry, but I think it's moist. I kind of just want to sit down. I'll sit on this rock. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's good. I have no idea how much further I have to go, and you know, it doesn't really matter because I'm going all the way to the end. Now that I did that crawl, I have to complete the whole cave, right? Oh, but while I'm sitting here taking this break, I just wanted to say, one of the subscribers to the Got Out channel, they messaged me and said that they used the Amazon links in the description and bought some of the gear I've been using. And I try to only put stuff in the description that I actually trust and that I actually do use. You know, it may not be the top of the line stuff, but it's stuff that I use and I feel good passing it on to all of you guys. So check out the description, you know, for some of the links to some of the gear that I use. And I'm just thinking about this headlamp right now. This is one of the many settings on this lamp, and I love this lamp. It's not that expensive. I think it's like 35 or 45 bucks, and it's rechargeable. And that's one of the really good things about it. Yeah, I could have brought my spotlight, but this headlamp is my most prized possession down here. You know, the jacket and the boots are like second, but the headlamp, if this thing goes out, you know, I have backups, like I keep saying. I keep reminding myself I got backups. But if I didn't, it's all about the headlamp. And I do have a battery pack in here, which is one of the cool things about this lamp. Like I said, it's not even fully charged right now, but it has a charge port on it. So I can hook up the battery pack, and once I do that, it's a little awkward, but the light will instantly work. Some headlamps, you have to charge it and then take it off the charger for it to start working. But this will start working immediately once I plug it into the charger, and it will charge. So having that backup battery pack is super nice, and that's making me feel really safe. And now that I think about it, I also have a little light that attaches to that battery pack, but that's another light, backup light that I have. I have multiple lights in here now that I think about it. I have tiny little button lights in here. You can tell, like, I'm just thinking about light. Like, light is number one when you're in this kind of environment. It's pitch black. You can see that. It's pitch black. So this headlamp, I'll have a link to it down below, so check it out. I'm really trusting it right now, and I've trusted this headlamp for a few years. I've had it for probably 4 years, and it's the only headlamp I use. It's my main go-to source for light. Because it's got this red light, it's got multiple bright lights. Here, check this out. It'll light up my face, and then it's got another brightness right there. You can start to see the back wall, and then it's got number 3 right here. So that lights up the back wall. If you hold it down, then you get the brightest light. And that's actually really, really bright. So that'll light up anything. Oh, wow, yeah, that looks really good back there. That'll drain the battery really fast. So I'm gonna turn that off. But, you know, that's good for emergencies, having that super, super bright light. I mean, that's lighting it down really far there. That's pretty cool. That's the first time in this cave that I turned the light on that bright, just because I'm trying to save the battery power. And of course, the red lamp and the lower settings don't use a lot of power. It's all about the light in here. Okay, I got a ways to go, so let's keep going. I'm trying to pick up a little trash for good karma because check this out. I have to crawl again. Wow. Looks like it opens up not too far. I mean, it's not like I'm lost. You just kind of wonder where you are, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm in the cave. It's like I just go back this way, and that's how I get out. And now that I've crawled that one space, this is kind of nothing. It's kind of almost a little bit lower, a little more treacherous, but it's not freaking me out, especially since I can see how it opens up out there. So let me get through this here. This ground is really, see all these lava chunks? It's pretty rough. There are some smooth areas, but see, like here it gets a little smoother, but for the most part, it's pretty rough. Yeah, so I'm just crawling here, like squatting, and then now I'm kind of half squatting. It's about 4 feet, and then now it opens up. Okay. Yeah, really big area. Wow. Okay. Now this is, you can see how that's kind of fresh here. Yeah, so I'm standing right under this freshly detached area. You can see right there where it came from. Wow. So honestly, I don't really know if I have a long ways or a short ways to go. But I said I'm going to the end, so I'm gonna go to the end. I'm not really scared, but I'm kind of thinking about things. I'm not hearing anybody anymore, and I'm thinking about monsters, like Alien from the movie Alien and Aliens with Sigourney Weaver. Like if one of those things is down in here, then I'm just gonna surrender my body to them. There's no reason to fight. You can't get out of here. And these boots I got, these 511 boots, I picked them up at a yard sale, and they're pretty strong. Like I'm not worried about them or anything, but I'm really grateful for having them because I can feel this lava rock just trying to eat away at the sole. So there's gonna be a lot of wear and tear on these boots just from this one little trip, which I'm happy about because they're yard sale boots, and they didn't cost me much. And my awesome boots are back at camp. I got some really good boots back at camp. These are holding up good. Okay, I'm just kind of rambling just because I want to take a little rest. And this is light in my face. I can't see anything. I'm trying to do multiple things at once. It's neat. Here, take a look at this. It just kind of keeps going back. And every once in a while, there's like these random boulders on the floor here. And it seems pretty, like it looks pretty flat, like the ground, but it's not. It's just getting more and more. You can see that when I put the light on it, how rough that is. That's literally what I'm walking on. So having good boots in here is really a must. You can see how there's like a gully on the edge here, where as the lava sort of piles up in the middle, it forms these gullies. Man, I mean, it just keeps going back, so we're still going. There's a lot of cracks. Oh, I can see some lights from some people. I'm feeling kind of alone and thinking like, what time is it outside? Because you have no sense of the time. And you start thinking about one of these boulders falling down on you, and if it pinned you, you'd be pinned. That must happen occasionally because boulders do fall. You can see this boulder right here. I mean, these are big. Big boulders. If that fell on you, then, you know, you're pinned underneath it. Now I am starting to see some interesting formations here. You see these jaggedy rocks, and it looks like they're stuck in the lava. It gives me the idea that when the lava was flowing and still cooling, that some rocks from the ceiling fell into the lava and then kind of get, you know, stuck to the surface. See, like this big flat spot? I mean, it looks like a rock fell from the ceiling, I'm assuming, or something, and then got stuck in there with all of the flowing lava. And this looks like it's loose, but it's a little loose, but it's mostly not loose. Here's a chunk. There's these kind of flat, splotchy areas like this right here. Maybe it's just a big chunk that kind of floats along the top and then rests there. But I'm thinking it came from the ceiling, like cracks from the heat, and then falls onto the lava. And so you get these patches of flat rock. There we go. That's what the highest beam. And it just keeps going back and back. I mean, I feel like I'm in a cave movie. A lot of rock fall right here, big one. That's the biggest one I've seen in a while. You can see the big area where it fell. And that would be instant death. Holy cow, I think this might be the end. It does look like the end. I don't see myself going any further in there. So back here, yep, you get some graffiti a little bit. That's all right, that doesn't bother me too much, just a little bit. Kind of makes sense. And it looks like, shoot, I mean, you could. Dude, there's no way I would go through there. Holy cow. Can you see that? See, there's some graffiti in there. It looks like you could go at least another 40, 50 feet. And then who knows if it keeps going, but there's no way I would crawl through that. Are you kidding me? See, I know my limits. I mean, I'm going to get close. Oh, see, I can't even get in here with my backpack. Like, this is where rocks fall on you. Oh yeah, that's creepy. That is creepy. So I think probably real cavers do that. But there's nobody back there. That's why I've been seeing less people, because this is the end. This is the kind of thing, like, if you want to see what's back there, then go on YouTube and look it up. I'm sure somebody did it. But that's not me. Because that's like 2 feet tall at the most. In there, you're on your belly. It feels good when you know your limits. And I know my limits. There's no way I would just even crawl in there just to be like, oh, let's see what's in there. There's no way. Even if I had friends with me, I'd be like, I'm not doing that. I might do it if I had friends with me. I'm not doing it alone. You see, like I'm already having to, that's the entrance, if you want to call it that. I see a date here. It says 68, maybe. Oh man. It actually feels good to get to the end. Whew. Well, this is a good time and a good spot here at the end of the cave to say thanks for watching the Got Out channel. This is what we do here. We go on adventures. Usually I'm with my dogs. Usually we're outside. Technically we're in a cave right now, but I consider that outside. Oh, wow. Please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our adventures. We're learning about nomad life and living on the road full time. That's what we've been doing for almost 3 years now, me and the dogs. And if you want to learn with us, then hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you're watching. We like to know you're watching. And I'll be shooting a little bit more video on the way out. So don't click away yet. I don't know how this video is going to turn out, but for me, it kind of exemplifies my idea for the channel, which is like getting out. And in this case, I kind of got out of my element. I'm not with my dogs. I'm not with my rig or my trailer. All I have is my little backpack and this little light, which I'm probably going to have to recharge in the middle of this cave, which is going to be kind of crazy, but I got all the stuff to do it, so I've got plenty of light one way or another. But I got out of my element and into a cave. And then I even did that low-hanging area, which people were saying they didn't do, but I did it. Even though, you know, I got a little claustrophobic at the beginning. But I have to say now it's like I could camp in here. Like it's, I'm pretty comfortable in here. It's really quiet, which is kind of the scariest part. The darkness, you know, is not so scary with a little bit of light. It's the silence. It's just that dead silence. And then you start thinking about all of the ground above you. And you think about, how do I get out? If you want to get out, you got to hike out. And it's not an easy hike. Whew. I just did this section again, and I just realized something. Maybe I'm losing it down here, but I had to duck to get through there, and you're moving at the same time, right? And I'm like, oh, you have to walk like a duck to get through here, and you're ducking. And I realized, oh, that's why it's called duck. Because when you duck, you're like a duck, and you walk like a duck. So when you go like this, that's duck because you're a duck. Yeah, I'm going crazy. As I'm coming back, there's a interesting flow pattern here. It's kind of funny, like I feel like I know this cave like the back of my hand now, since I've gone every nook and cranny of it. And there were a couple guys that walked past me, and I said, you should go right. And that's all I said, and they went right. So they'll have a little adventure, just like I did. And now someone just passed me. They were heading back, and they were breathing really heavy. It really sticks out. You're like, oh, that's someone who's experiencing claustrophobia, and they got to get out. I mean, he was like huffing, puffing, and just like narrowing, you know, just focus on getting out. Just, you can tell he's like talking to himself, like, just keep walking, just keep walking, just keep walking. And then eventually you'll get out and you'll be okay. It's going to be cool when I get out. Like it's going to feel pretty good. I was looking at my clock because I was like, what time is it? I realized it doesn't matter if it gets dark. It doesn't change in here. The weather doesn't change, temperature, nothing changes. Here's a pretty precarious situation here. This big boulder is just resting on this, and then the edge of it is on this other boulder, which looks like it's going to be the next to fall someday. I wouldn't want to walk under that one, but we do have to walk under this one.